Hello, everybody. We got another recap tonight. It was the national semifinals down in Laredo, Texas, as the Southern Conference champions, Laredo Heat. Just gonna call them the Heat from now on. They were playing the Eastern Conference champions, Vermont Green, with Vermont a chance to get back to the national finals, which they did a year ago. Wasn't even a contest. I'm just gonna put it out right away. The thing that was the most worthy of this first half, I'm going to go first half and second half first. First half was the stream was a disaster. Kept crashing, freezing. Everyone was saying Sports Engine play was a complete disaster with this. I was able to see 2 of the 3 goals in this half, but it was awful. So early in this game, Vermont Green should have got a penalty. They did not. The ref decided nope, even though it was the most egregious penalty there was. Guy didn't even play the ball. He literally pushed the player away. That is a foul in the box. Should have been penalty. Wasn't a pen. Vermont does score first, though. We did see this one. They scored early, 1-0, bang. They would then score right away to make it 2-0, and I'm thinking, this game's going to get out of hand. It didn't, though. And the reason it didn't was because this ref was blatantly biased. He wanted the Heat to win this game. He kept calling fouls on Vermont. Through the first, I can tell you, for the only 15 minutes I could see the game, he never called a foul on Vermont. And Chris Taylor, Vermont's coach, was getting really frustrated because there was blatant dirty play that they were doing. There were knee shots that they were trying, and they weren't calling anything. It was becoming ridiculous, and you could tell the Vermont players were getting frustrated. Laredo Heat would then score on the corner to make it 2-1 because Vermont couldn't clear it. There was one thing in the first half I did notice that in the time I could see, they couldn't string passes together, and the Heat's pressure and forecheck was doing their job. So it's 2-1 going into halftime. But the thing is, it should have been 3-1 going to halftime because Vermont Green scored a tap-in goal, but they called a most bogus offside I've ever seen. Player wasn't offsides when he received the pass, and yet they go, yep, he's offside, before he puts the cross in. So that was a dumb thing. So it's 2-1 going into halftime. And then in the first 10 minutes, first off, the stream was back, and it was fine for the rest of the game. First 10 minutes, the Heat are pressing, and they're pressing hard. And Wilson, who has had nothing on his resume for this playoffs because it's been all about Vermont's offense, Wilson makes probably is probably, in my opinion, the play of the game. And probably the save of the tournament, I would say. Because he completely robs, he goes up and punches it away to keep them leading in this game. And then in the next 2 minutes, Vermont scores bang, bang. The first one was basically a poor play by the Heat, where they were just trying to clear it. It hits the head of Zelafro, and he decides, I'm going to up and get it, and then he's going to put it in the net to make it 3-1, and then he would get a penalty to complete his hat trick to make it 4-1, just like that, and this game's out of reach. And Vermont Green said, we ain't done. You insulted us in the first half. You played dirty. You kept trying to get bogus calls, and we're just going to keep shoving it down your throat. Then came a 5th goal, then a 6th goal. Then they're doing trick plays against the Heat. They're embarrassing them. And what we saw tonight was, even though Vermont Green won this game 7-1, we saw them, a pissed off Green. And when you piss them off, they completely destroy your hopes and dreams. If you were a fan of the Heat tonight in Laredo, Texas, I felt sorry for you because your team got murdered. It was a cold-blooded murder in this game. 5 second-half goals by Vermont. It was an ass whooping. So Vermont Green wins. They go to the national final. They've scored now 19 goals in the playoffs. They have played, I want to make sure I got this right, they've played 4 games, 19 goals. That's absurd. And now they have 1 more. The record for the playoffs in the USL2 is 22 that was set in 98 by Jacksonville. I don't think they're going to get to that because they're going to be playing the Flint City Bucks on the road, which is a very stingy defensive team. And they won it to death in their game against Ventura County to advance to the final, and they will be hosting. I had a feeling they were going to be hosting because Vermont hosted last year. So Vermont is going to have to travel on the road again. They're going to go to Flint City, Michigan to play the Flint City Bucks, who are the most decorated team in USL2. It should be a fun matchup there. So that was my little reaction on this. Like I said, I was pissed because the stream didn't work, and then I was amazed that Vermont just took no mercy in this game. So, take care, everybody. I will see you next time. This was a massive bludgeoning.